We would estimate at any given time it's 30% of the US population is affected by Candida. Most people don't know it.
As a professional, I understand you could probably spend an hour on this first question, but to the best of your ability, give us a simple definition. What is Candida?
Well, Candida is a yeast or a fungus. It's called a dimorphic organism. Technically, it's under the heading of mycology, which is the study of yeasts or fungus for that matter. Candida can switch itself back and forth from a yeast structure to a fungal structure. And it's normal to find Candida in the body. Like birds, for instance, have a very prominent level of Candida. All mammals have Candida to different degrees,
Okay.
and it's considered to be part of your normal biome in your intestinal tract. The problem is when it overgrows. See, the friendly bacteria that live in your intestinal tract, the bifidus and the acidophilus strains, use Candida as almost like a food source. So that keeps the population under control. But just like with any other food chain, if you kill off the organisms that are eating the smaller fish, then those smaller fish start to grow wild and out of control. So if you kill the acidophilus and the bifidus or disturb it in any way, the friendly bacteria in your gut, Candida starts to overgrow. Now, Candida releases various toxins, which are normally part of its metabolism, but they're really problematic to human beings. It ferments and releases alcohol. It releases mycotoxins, which are fungal-related toxins that affect your nervous system. There are tons and tons and tons of different toxic things that the Candida releases in your body that then cause a whole host of symptoms.
And so is it difficult to diagnose then?
Not if you know about it. If you don't know about it, you can go crazy trying to figure it out because Candida releases so many different toxins that cause so many different symptoms. And the release of those toxins varies depending on your diet, your body temperature, your hormones, the weather. You see? So there are so many different things that can affect it that you would go crazy trying to figure this out if you didn't have some kind of idea where you were looking. Because you'd have symptoms that would be triggered on days when you ate certain foods but not others, when the weather is more humid than not, and you'd have to really keep a log for quite a while to try to figure out where the stimulators are coming from so that you know
Wow.
what to look for.
How many people are affected by overgrowth of Candida, do you think?
Well, we would estimate at any given time it's 30% of the US population is affected by Candida. Most people don't know it. The problem is that you develop Candida typically by taking certain medications. Yes, it's true you can. The American Indians, for instance, had an herb that was called wild carrot root, and we know it now as lomadium. And they used to brew this herb and they used to give it to people who were sick when they had some kind of ceremonial things. And they noticed the people got better. These people had a condition they called furry tongue, which we now know as thrush, when you get so much yeast in your mouth that your tongue turns white. So it was known back then under those circumstances. As we come closer to modern times, it wasn't really known except for vaginal yeast infections in women, you see. So it's very difficult to understand because most people, if you say Candida or yeast, they think of vaginal yeast infections. They don't know that it lives in your intestines. That's the predominant place that Candida resides, is your small intestine and your colon. And it's fine when it's there and it's under control, but once it starts to overgrow, as I said, it can produce a host of symptoms that would confuse anybody. The symptoms would range from fatigue to allergies to chemical sensitivities to rashes to arthritic symptoms. It just goes on and on and on. Asthma. It's very typical that kids with autism will develop Candida at a young age due to the vaccinations, which affect them. And once they develop this, then they develop allergies. They develop a condition called leaky gut syndrome, which is better known as intestinal permeability, which means that their gut is porous. And it allows toxins that normally would be barred from entering your bloodstream to then flow in from the intestines. And that sets off a whole inflammatory cascade of all types of autoimmune problems.
Right,
So
right.
what Candida can do is very complicated, even though it's a very simple little organism.